Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya wal mursaleen nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our first live Ramadan moonsighting. Try something different, as they say. One of the reasons why I even considered it is because I normally have Fiqhour at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, and obviously because of the potential of Ramadan, then for that reason we moved the Fiqhour on to Tuesday, and as a result we did and covered that. But because we've got this position and it's happening at the time that we're going to be jumping onto a meeting, then I thought this would be useful just as a backdrop before we go on to the meeting. And then obviously you can observe, but I'll be mainly talking to the ulama majlis that's gathered. But we've been getting information regularly. We have a lunar radar system, which is basically a WhatsApp group. Sounds better when you say lunar radar system, but in reality, it's a WhatsApp group where we have all the moon sighting committee people of various countries on there. And they've been posting since yesterday. So, for example, we had here Canada. So the crescent moon to commence the month of Ramadan 1447 was looked for after the sunset on Tuesday, the 17th of February. Reports from committees confirmed that the moon was not sighted. The Hilal Committee of Toronto and the vicinity has accepted these reports and has declared that the month of Sha'ban will be complete, 30 days. Therefore, the first of Ramadan will be on Thursday, the 19th of Feb. So that was from Canada. Got that at 2:28 this morning. Then we've had from the Fiji Muslim League, and in the Fiji Muslim League, they said the Fiji Muslim League has advises its members that the new moon has not been sighted. Therefore, fasting for the month of Ramadan will inshallah commence on Friday. Obviously, the day starts in that part of the world, so they're ahead of us. The national executives and staffs of the Fiji Muslim League extends its best wishes to all. So that was from Fiji, and that was at 9:13. And then we got another message at 9:14 from the Hilal Committee of FHEA and Z, which is the what is it? That's the let me make that a little bit bigger. It's the Federation of Islamic Associations of New Zealand, and they said the Hilal Committee of FHEA and Z wishes to inform the community that the new moon for Ramadan was not sighted today. Therefore, we will complete the month of Sha'ban tomorrow, which is the 19th, and the month of Ramadan will begin on Friday. Okay, so how there was reports of sighting on Tuesday night is beyond me, because there should never be a space of 2 days across the globe. Then we got something from Australia at 12:40 UK time. Wednesday the 18th of February, the Hilal of Ramadan has not been sighted anywhere in Australia, despite extensive observations conducted across the country, including various cities throughout all states and territories. Therefore, the 30 days of the month of Sha'ban will be completed and the month of Ramadan will commence on Friday. So you can see here, not sighted anywhere in Australia. This is now 2 days later compared to some. So that's clearly the issue there. We are now, and then as I said to you, we've been getting positive reports so far. So 5:04 p.m. we got positive reports from Zimbabwe, and they've shared, not only have they shared the statement, but they've also shared a picture of the Hilal. So that was received at 17:04 from Zimbabwe. Due to confirmed sightings of the Hilal, the first of Ramadan corresponds to Thursday, the 19th of February. And then at virtually at the same time at 17:04, we got news from the National Moon Sighting of Malawi. And in the National Moon Sighting of Malawi, the first of Ramadan will correspond to Thursday. The NMC, the National Moon Sighting Committee of Malawi, has confirmed that the Hilal for Ramadan has been sighted. As such, in Malawi, the first of Ramadan will be Thursday. Okay, so you're getting reports. Then we got at about 17:07, we got Zambia. The Zambia National Hilal Committee confirms that the Hilal, the new moon for Ramadan, has been sighted. As such, in Zambia, 1st of Ramadan will correspond to Thursday, the 19th of February. So that's for Zambia. And then at another 10 minutes after that, from Botswana. Following confirmed reports of moon sighting, the Hilal Committee of Botswana has determined that in Botswana, the 1st of Ramadan will be Thursday, the 19th. So Thursday for this part of the world. And then we've got, this is in French here. I think it's Mozambique. No, it's not French. It's probably Portuguese, isn't it? I don't know. Visualizida Alua Jamatul Ulama de Mozambique informe that it will be Ramadan. So I don't know, make of that my accent as much as you like. We also have another group, which is the group that has been set up for our crescent chasers, Wifaq al-Ulama crescent chasers. They're asking, should we delay the meeting to 6:15? So I'm going to agree to that. Reason why we need to delay the meeting is because we're still waiting for reports coming in from the UK. And I'll read some of the reports that are coming in from the UK on our crescent chasers. So we have pictures now that have come from Abha, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, at 6:27. So this is the moon that has been seen. I don't know how well you can see that. Can you see the hilal there, right at the bottom, like a smiley face? That is now just been seen in Abha a day later, okay? And you've got, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, 6:27. Those are images coming in there. Telford, 100% cloud coverage. Birmingham, cloud coverage. Here's a picture from Walsall. Okay, so Walsall, cloud coverage. Cloud coverage in Chingford, East London. Nuneaton is overcast, and they've shared an image as well. And Belfast, overcast. So he's got you'll see he's using the app. I don't really want to share people's numbers, but he's using the app to, if I could twist my arm, to find out where the hilal is. Overlooking the Emirates Stadium. Okay. No hilal there. Coventry, Nuneaton, negative due to cloud overcast. And negative from Seven Kings, Ilford. So these are all coming in negative from these various parts of the country. Cloudy in East Lothian, Scotland. Cloudy in Birmingham. We've got cloudy in Bradford. Cloudy in East London. Overcast in Manchester. Dewsbury is negative, cloudy. Rain in Walthamstow, so no sighting possible here. Cloudy in South London, Croydon. Cloudy in East Lothian, I read that, sorry. Cloudy in Birmingham. Negative in Purley. Bolton, there's a picture, looks pretty cloudy. There are spaces of a little bit of a clear sky. Lots of images of people busy in Bolton. Cloudy in Leicester as well. So that they're the kind of information coming in. So now, when people are always, hyper that, we need to know now, we need to know now. Well, we can't, can we? We can't know now because we have to wait for moonset. And moonset is about, where have we got it here? It's about, it's nearly 90 minutes after sunset. Okay, moonset is 90 minutes after sunset. Sunset was approximately 5:30. So 90 minutes is 6, 7 o'clock. So technically speaking, the moon is still on the UK horizons till 7 p.m. So we cannot declare, can we, until we've waited till 7 p.m. And that's the issue, is people want to rush. And I know that, there are probably timetables that are at 7:15 or 7:30. And people are saying, well, we need to know. We need to know. Well, how are we going to know? How are we going to know until we have completely waited for the moon to set. Once the moon has set, now we know the moon has set, it's no longer visible on the horizon. And therefore, now we should stop looking on the horizon because the moon is set. And if people say, well, it's astronomical. Yes, of course, it's astronomical. But so is the sunset astronomical. And you've prayed your Maghrib Salah and you're going to break your fast with that data. So there's certain astronomical data which is virtually fact now. Like we take sunset times, like we take sunrise times, like we take noon times, and we work out our salahs accordingly. So technically we should be waiting another 59 minutes, okay? But we also will be looking at our partners as well. I've shared some of our partners across the African continent, but there will be others as well. Let's carry on. There's more. Negative high Wickham due to cloud overcast. So there was a image that I shared on my WhatsApp, okay, which if you can see that, I don't know why I'm doing this, but let me try this. So you can see that pretty much the UK is overcast, apart from, you know, Scotland and maybe the northeast potentially, okay, that's uncovered, but we still have to wait. Okay, so please be patient. Assalamu alaikum Islam. What would be the ruling if an individual was to see the moon rather than the elected scholars for that particular community? Can people go ahead individually? What they should do, interesting question that. What they should do is they should take it to a Qāḍī. Okay, they're not supposed to just act. They take it to a Qāḍī. So today, if you see the hilal, you're supposed to get in touch with Wifaq al-Ulama. And when you get in touch with Wifaq al-Ulama, now if we're fortunate, you may, you know, witness that we get phone call. They go to some colleagues of ours, they'll meet. We have a number of people now that have had Shahada training, and they can take witness statements. And you go to a Qāḍī and you give your witness statement. Once your witness statement has been given, and then when there is the private majlis, the Majlis al-Qadha, then in that Majlis al-Qadha, a decision is made. Now, if only one person sees it, and it's a cloudy, overcast sky, which it is today, and it is a month of Ramadan, then the Qāḍī will take that statement, as long as we can prove today, the moon has been on the horizon for a significant period of time. Therefore, there is a high likelihood that this witness is not made a mistake. So the Qāḍī will take that statement. So he would not need to act individually. And that's the difference, you see. Unfortunately, what we have now is there is no system. And we're just going by what we see on the TV, or somebody phoning us from Saudi and saying, oh, there's a declaration made. There's no system in place. You can see the level of transparency that we have here. Salam, any official confirmation from Morocco? No. Let me just give you some information about Morocco then. Where are we? So in Morocco, oh, sorry, wrong one. That's the one. So in Morocco, let me see what we have. So the moon set in Morocco is at 7:27 in Rabat and 8:09 in Dakhla. Okay, so that's considerably later. That's at their time. As the visibility maps are showing that the moon will be visible across most of the world on Wednesday, the 18th of February. Right, so we will need to wait for a fax, which could mean that, you know, we could potentially be waiting a little bit longer than even 7 p.m. Because our window closes at 7 p.m., but their window doesn't close till, you know, if I just check Morocco time, let me check Rabat time. Time in Rabat, Morocco, then their time is same as ours, 18:05. Okay, so their time is the same. So they're on the same time, which would mean that if we're waiting on Morocco, we'd have to wait another half an hour potentially, because they're not going to rush to a decision until the moon has set. So that's another half an hour potentially there. Okay, I'm just going to send you the messages which are coming in. So we have now an image being shared I cannot, this has not been independently verified, but we have an image being shared of a moon that has been sighted in South Africa. Now, South Africa is one of our partners, okay? We have a number of partners across the African nation, and South Africa is one of ours. But again, priority is given to local sighting, okay? This is what we do. Priority is given to local sighting, and we have another 54 minutes or so left of that. There's so much indifferences even within families, or who we should or shouldn't be following. How do we resolve these disputes? They're not necessarily indifferences, but there are differences. And the reason being is that there's confusion, because unfortunately there is no understanding of this whole concept of moon sighting. Saudia's view is that if the moon is on the horizon, even for a split second after it has been born, then, and somebody comes and makes a statement, then that to us is valid. Okay. Now, the problem with that is you're seeing now that in some parts of the world, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji Islands, Ramadan doesn't start till Friday. Now, it cannot be on the planet that there's a 2-day difference between somebody making a claim and on the same day, on Tuesday night, when we reached as far as California and as far as Canada, we got negative reports several hours after the positive that came from Saudi. So these were several hours after. So the moon is bigger. The DAS, the angle of elongation, is longer. The moon has aged. It stays on the horizon longer, and yet it hasn't been seen. And we also want to add that in Saudi, it was only seen in one place. We don't even know how many witnesses saw it. So across the whole of Saudi, it wasn't seen in Mecca, it wasn't seen in Medina, it wasn't seen in Jeddah, it wasn't seen anywhere else. Just in this one place it was seen. So therefore, obviously, when all this exists, then it becomes challenging to accept it as being valid. I've explained it to my parents and family, and we've always done it with this mosque community, and when it's even when it's wrong, yeah, that's it. And that's how people will be. 100%. I accept that. And it's only when we move completely as a community that people will feel confident to move. Until that time, you're going to have this. And there's going to be a period where there's going to be a split until eventually people come on board again. As I mentioned yesterday, or whenever I discuss this particular mas'ala, Salam Mufti, when will we be getting the announcement of local moon sighting? When will we be getting the announcement of local moon sighting by 7th? I don't understand the question. When will we be getting the announcement by 7:30 p.m.? Or will we be getting? I think, is that what you're saying? Will we be getting it? Well, local moon sighting is the moon does not set. The moon does not set till 7 p.m. Okay, the moon does not set till 7 p.m. in the UK, across the UK. So that's still, the moon is still, if you literally go outside your door, assuming you are in England or Scotland or Wales or Ireland, if you just go out your door right now and try to see the moon, you could possibly see it. The further north you are, the better. If you're in Newcastle, Middlesbrough, that part of the world, and Scotland, southern Scotland, you've got a very good chance of seeing it because you've got clear skies. For most of us, we've got unclear skies. The size of the moon is sufficient. So even if you are in a light polluted area, you can still potentially see it because the size and the angle of difference between it and the sun, and also the fact that the sun has set nearly 40 minutes ago, means that there's a good chance of seeing it. So that any one of you can see, you can literally go outside of your house now and try to see it. Salaam Sir, keep up your amazing work. Muzaffar eagerly. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah maulana. Allah bless you. Inshallah, we're still fighting. Blessings of being in the south. I guess so, Osman. Yeah, blessings of being in the south. That's what we are. Alhamdulillah. Well, Allah bless you. MashaAllah. Yes, Sarfaraz Bhai, why not? We'll have people coming in. I don't know how you can add people to lives, but we'll try to add people next year, inshallah. This year we'll just keep it like this. Um, 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 So we still got we still got people coming in, giving their views on there. So as I said, for now you can understand, people, this is one of the reasons why I did this, is people think, what are we waiting for? Where are they? Why is an announcement not made yet? Because we can't make an announcement. Until the moon sets, we're waiting. Here we are, like you and us, we're waiting. But you folk can actually go cite it. I've been banned from citing it. Alhamdulillah. We cited it from our madrasa here in Bradford. We built an observatory. I was going to say a conservatory. We built an observatory, and we used to climb on top of the madrasa, right? And when we used to climb on top of the madrasa, we used to look across the horizon. And because I was so preoccupied with the hold on, some messages coming in. Okay, because sorry, I've got messages coming in. I just lost my train of thought. So I climbed, alhamdulillah, with a few colleagues of our madrasa, of our darloom, and we looked across the horizon. Alhamdulillah, we saw it. And what happened is, because I was taking so long there, and I'm also part of the shura that makes the decision, I got a bit of a telling off that stick to your day job, so to speak. Leave the moon sighting to other people. We need you for the shura to make the decision. So for that reason, I've now been banned from citing it. Otherwise, I would have been out there citing it as well. It is a sunnah, and alhamdulillah, I'm very pleased that we were able to cite it from Bradford, from our madrasa, mashallah, and for a Ramadan month as well. Alhamdulillah, I will die with a smile on my face to say that I've managed to achieve that feat, which is not an easy thing to do. But alhamdulillah, we can go out. Appreciate it's cold, appreciate it's wet, but if we do this regularly, like we're doing it for Ramadan, like we can do it for Shawwal, and then in the future for Dhul Hijjah, and we make this a habit, then we can bring the community on board and say to the community that, look, we are all doing this. We're all, we're fulfilling this. And once we get regular citing from the UK, we wouldn't even need to rely on foreign reports. Now, the sun has set in the UK from around 5:15, 5:10 approximately down south, all the way up to here in the Bradford. It was about 5:23, I think. And if you go further north, it'll probably be about 5:40, 5:45. So we've been waiting approximately an hour if you look at it from down south. But let's just say we go by Bradford. So we've been waiting now approximately 1 hour, or coming up to 1 hour, and nobody's seen it yet in the UK. That's the issue with the UK. Okay, this is the issue. And we know it can be seen. We have no doubt it can be seen. The data tells us that it can be seen. It is visible to the naked eye, or the unassisted eye. There is sufficient evidence for that. The only reason why we can't see it is because of the clouds. And living on an island, that's the issue we get regularly. Cloud cover. And then you're waiting for that little gap between the clouds. And obviously, a lot of people are inexperienced. They don't know what they're looking for. We've got another one just beep in. I don't know if you can hear the sound when my laptop makes a notification comes in. So negative from Pearly. So they're making, well, you won't be able to hear it because it's on my earphones, but they're making Salah for Maghrib. There's lots of rain coming down, but there's been negative from Pearly. Okay. And that's the Qurbani people have to make. You have to go out in the rain. You have to get a bit wet. You have to get your umbrella. No one's the angels are not going to come down and descend and sight it for us and let us know. And that's why Saudi is so easy, isn't it? You don't have to get wet. You don't have to get, wait in the rain. You don't have to do anything. You just wait, go onto Twitter, Al Haramain, and they give you an update. You think, brilliant, that's it, it's done. But then you don't feel like you're actually doing the right thing, especially with what we've seen, the negativity associated with it. The fact that, using powerful telescopes, nobody was able to see it. These are the most powerful telescopes that exist on the planet, and they were not able to see the hilal. It's just problematic, isn't it? There's a lack of clarity. And therefore, for most people who have fasted on that day, they've actually fasted on what's referred to as Yom Shak, meaning that there's no certainty that that is Ramadan has started or not. Whereas here we are trying our best to get that. And as the clock ticks, we've been live now for 25 minutes. No positive sightings are coming from the UK. Okay, I'm waiting on any signs that come, but there's nothing positive. We've had another message as well. Keep up the good work, Musab. Next year I can join you for the live stream, inshallah. We'll work a way out. So again, we're waiting. No news so far. I'll ring in now to see what's the to see if the call has come in, and oh, 330. Let me see what the number is. The password is Amjad. Amjad. Assalamu alaikum. How are we doing, Mufti? Abid, all negative from local, isn't it? Walaikum salam. Ji. Ji. So I'm now on the conference call. Okay, so I'm going to be focused here. Mm. 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 यानी कोई इख्तिलाफ है? मुफ्ती ज़करिया, इख्तिलाफ है या नहीं? इसमें इसको ये राय सही है? मुफ्ती ज़ुबैर? तो इस पर फैसला हो जाए साउथ अफ्रीका पर। कोई ठीक है। तो जब अनाउंसमेंट हो जाएगी ना तो इंतज़ार करेंगे कि मराकीश से वगैरह, लेकिन या पॉजिटिव जी, और कहेंगे हाँ। ठीक है, तो आप कहेंगे कि भाई पॉजिटिव फॉरेन साइटिंग, लेकिन पूरा तहकीक यानी पूरा डिटेल बाद में लिखेंगे. So just so it's sufficient to say जी जी शेख. ठीक है. ओके. तो अभी इंशाल्लाह फॉरेन 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 साइटिंग पर फैसला हो जाएगी इंशाल्लाह, और बाद में जब मोरक्को वगैरह से आएंगे तो फिर पूरा डिटेल हो गया, लेकिन साउथ साउथ अफ्रीका से. जी. ओके. ओके. तो ओके. वाले सलाम. So I don't know what you caught of that or what you didn't catch of that, but we have another 20 we have another 8 plus 30 38 minutes left in the UK. Okay, 38 minutes left in the UK, but we have contacted our contacts in Scotland and across the north of England. Even it's cloudy across there. There is no possibility that we feel that there's going to be a positive statement coming back from there. Morocco, as we said, 7:30 is going to be, 8 o'clock, I said rather. 8 o'clock would be in Dakhla, the sunset. That's in 8 p.m. So we would have to wait 8 p.m. for their announcement. We believe it will be a positive announcement. But we're also conscious of time, in the fact that people need to pray Taraweeh. Masajids will need to organize, especially down south. So there has to be a practical element as well. And this is what people forget. People become very academic and said, oh, let's just stick to this, let's stick to that. But we have to be practical. We've got jamaats, congregations that need to pray. And therefore, we need to take a sensible approach. And we have agreements with both Morocco and with South Africa. In fact, we have agreements with other African countries as well. We have received a positive sighting. The sighting I just showed you whilst I was talking to you, that is from Zambia, okay, which was positive. And also we have a Shahada statement from and a statement given from South Africa, a positive sighting. So we've now made a declaration on there that we're going to go with that positive sighting of a foreign positive sighting. We will obviously continue to have our conversations. So we have now the calendar that's out now. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that. There you go. Maybe I need to bend the camera a little bit. So we have now issued the statement, and that will go out now. So I normally post this on my status. So if you've got my number, you can get it on there. If not, you can't. And share it with the family, of course. What kind of person would I be to not share it with the family? And also I need to add it somewhere here as well. Hold on. So save that. Copy this. And then I add it to the declaration group. We have a Wifaq al-Ulama declaration group, which I will add it to now. Paste. Upload. Photo. There we go. And that's done. Alhamdulillah. So what's the correct way to see if one sees the moon? As before, others would say they see the moon through a scope, but it's not so. Should it be left to those who have that experience, etc.? No, try to get a group of people together. You saw, for example, that video I showed you. That was in Purley. So, 10, 15 people went, and there'll be more experienced people and less experienced people. Blessings up north too, specifically Bradford. Alhamdulillah. What's your opinion on Mufti Taqi Saab's fatwa? Mufti Taqi Saab's fatwa depends what we mean by Mufti Taqi Saab's fatwa. I don't know which particular fatwa, mashallah. Mufti Saab's written a lot of fatwa. Assalamu alaikum. Mufti, do you know if any masjid in Birmingham that follow Wifaq al-Ulama? There is a few masajids, but I don't know them off the top of my head. My sincere apologies. Are we going by Safra? Yes, we will be. I don't understand if we're supposed to go by looks. Why have we gone by what's been cited for? Yes, you've obviously not been listening HSVR, and I know who HSVR is, so you should know better. Local citing is given precedence, okay, due to the number of people going out to cite, as we've seen today, due to the number of people going out to cite, and due to the cloudy nature, then even when there is a possibility of citing, we may not get a positive citing. So today, there was most definitely a possibility of citing. The Hilal was on the horizon for a 90 minutes approximately. Okay, 90 minutes is a long time. It's a considerably a large size of moon to see as well. It's an relatively old moon. And the distance between the sun and the moon is significant enough to not be blinded by the sun, or due to the lack of illumination that comes from the moon, that we don't see it properly. So all the signs are there that should have been seen today, but we didn't see it. Why? Because of the lack of sighters that we have. Now, whilst we have differences in our community in the UK, which we do, we know there's a large community that follows Saudi. We know that there's communities that don't. So therefore, we want to, as ulama, are trying to keep things as close to as possible. You see, if we got negative sighting today, and due to no people going out to see it, by 7 p.m., that would mean nobody has seen it, which would have meant that Thursday would not have been Ramadan. Friday would have been Ramadan, which would have meant there's now 2 days difference. And that over a period of time is going to potentially be 3-4 days difference. We want to avoid that. And where there is a Sharia permissibility, like the nearest Muslim country that we can go to, then we go to that. This is the whole case that we've been building. Right? It's not just about foreign, it's about foreign correct. The issue with Saudi is not that it's just foreign, it's that it's incorrect as well. That's the issue here. It's not just about the foreign nature. Now, if the whole UK could come together, it would be local only. It wouldn't matter then if Ramadan started on Friday. It wouldn't matter. The problem is the whole of the UK community is not together, and we're trying to keep this together. Hope that makes sense. Right now you're listening, and you were on it, or you were on the Fiqhour yesterday, and I explained this yesterday as well. So you're in the naughty corner, young man. Morocco is close. I don't understand why it's other. If you could clarify why, then yes, Morocco is absolutely correct, and Morocco is our go-to country. It absolutely is. But what you may have missed, 4484, is, as I was saying, Morocco moonset is at 7:30 in one part, Rabat, and in Dakhla it's 8 o'clock, right? That's just the moonset. So when moonset takes place, they now need to make sure that have we got all the witnesses come forward. That could potentially take another half an hour, okay, or another hour. That's now 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? They then have to make decision, Morocco. That could be 9:30. Then we get notified. So we would have to be on this live for another 3 hours. We would then get notified at 9:30. When we get notified at 9:30, the Taraweeh, right, time that we usually book is now getting a bit late. Now getting people to go to the masjid for Taraweeh is problematic. People are struggling to go against the grain and go against Saudi Arabia. Okay, we know people are struggling. We've just had a few points on here about the differences in families and how it's causing potential splits. So what we're trying to do is be practical as well. What's up? How do we put the hadith by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam regarding extending the month if there is a cloudy day into context in this scenario? Yeah, valid point. Sumu li ru'yati wa aftiru li yutri fa in ghumma alaykum fa akmilu 30 aw kama qal, words to that effect. I paraphrase. That if you don't do 29, then do 30. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And we should be doing that. But unfortunately, we have this situation whereby we've got this split in our community in the UK. And because of this split of our community in the UK, okay, because of this split, we're trying to keep things as closely as possible within the bounds of the Sharia. Okay, within the bounds of the Sharia. And if all the community were together, in the UK, if all the community was together on the UK, then what we'd be able to do is say, we haven't seen it today, we're going to complete 30 days like every other country does. Okay, Australia's done that. New Zealand has done that. Fiji has done that. Zambia will do that. Whenever they don't see the hilal, they just complete 30. But that's because there is some agreement amongst them. Unfortunately, we're split, and we're trying to draw that split together. Why has Pearly declared if the moon doesn't set for another hour? Pearly, I think, is spelled Purley. They've so far saying it's negative. Okay, in Pearly, it's going to set a little bit earlier because I gave you sort of Bradford time. Pearly is obviously in London or near London or thereabouts, so they'll be a little bit earlier. So they may only have another 15 minutes or so, and they may have seen that there's no possibility due to the large cloud cover and made that decision. Morocco is further to the UK than Medina was to Damascus when the Sahaba rejected that sighting. Yes, but that's because there was unanimity in Medina, that there was consensus in Medina. There is no consensus in the UK. If there was consensus in the UK, we wouldn't need to go to any foreign country. If our forefathers who arrived on these shores 50, 60 years ago did only UK sighting, this whole issue would never have come up. But they couldn't do UK sighting, or they said they couldn't do UK sighting. So then they sent fatwa across to the Indo-Pak world and said, what do we do in these circumstances as we can't see the hilal? They were then told, what you do is you go to the nearest Muslim country. That was the fatwa of the ulama because of your extreme circumstances. And also in the circumstances of Medina, there were clear skies, desert atmosphere, very different than a cloudy situation that we find ourselves in. So I hope that makes sense. Now, I don't want to kind of extend this any further than it needs to be, but if there's any specific questions, I'll hold out for another couple of minutes before we wrap things up, because I also need to get to Taraweeh. Otherwise, I won't make it to Taraweeh. Oh, man. I was trying to clear up my phone, and I seem to have deleted my picture that I had of the timetable. Deleted, recently deleted. View album. Where's the timetable? There you go. How do I undelete? Recover photo. Okay. Nearly had a mini heart attack. So, why is it creating a memory? I don't need to create memories. Where's my images now? This used to be so simple, and now it's so confusing. Oh, library. Why not just check my library? All right, where is it? All right, there you go. So what time is my Tarawih? 7:15. So I do need to be disappearing shortly. Morocco doesn't. Where is it gone? Morocco, Jazakallah for explaining very clearly. Barakallah fiqh. Morocco doesn't work in that regard. So just to clarify, as we are now observing Ramadan, Thursday and Tarawih is shortly Morocco doesn't work in that regard. I don't know what that is in relevant to. So just to clarify, are we now observing Ramadan Thursday and Tarawih shortly as South Africa is what we were going with it as it's positive? That is correct, because we have an arrangement with both South Africa and Morocco. We can see the hilal in the British Isles 9 years in a row. You can. Let me see if you see it today, 7 Earths. If you don't see it today, 7 Earths, then you will be, there's only 1 Earth, I believe, but 7 Earths, if you don't see it today, you'll be fasting on Friday, which means there will be a 2-day difference between your good selves and between those families who are on Saudiya. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to keep things within a Shari understanding sound as well. Otherwise, as I keep repeating, which I don't know, maybe it's not coming clear, as I keep repeating, is that what we can do is if the whole UK came onto local sighting, then it wouldn't matter when we saw it. Okay, it doesn't matter when we saw it. That's your position, 7 Earths, but I don't know if you're a scholar. If you're not a scholar, you're just a follower, then that's your position. I'm giving you a scholarly position. So I hope that makes it slightly different than what you're saying. Sheikh, is the position of the Abu Hanifa that a sighting from any Muslim place is valid? So why would would you give president to nearest country? I explained this, Faisal, maybe in a couple of sessions ago, about what do we mean by global sighting. Okay, what do we mean by global sighting? Global sighting is a phenomenon which is not based on modern day thinking right now. Okay, modern day global sighting means that I can sight basically, or I get information from any place on the planet via this thing. Okay, any place on the planet. If I get information any place on the planet via this thing, then it places an unnecessary burden, because that's not how the Sharia works. The way the Sharia works is that when news was reached that the Hilal had been sighted, the only means of transportation was by horse. Okay, camel was considerably slower. But let's just say even camel, because traveling on sand is difficult for a horse. But let's just say it was a camel. How long do you think it takes a camel? How many miles do you think a camel can do in an hour? If it manages 5-10 miles in an hour, that's a miracle. Let's say it's doing 10 miles an hour. In 5 hours, it's only done 50 miles. If I was in Bradford and I saw the Hilal in Bradford and I wanted to let the whole of the UK know, and they set off, okay, from Bradford on my camel, it would take me nearly 5 hours to reach to Manchester, or 6 hours to reach to Manchester, right? If it takes me 6 hours to reach to Manchester, then it's already, I've seen it at, say, this time at 7 p.m. Add 6 hours, that's now 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m. that news has reached Manchester. So global is a modern concept. What we mean by is how news could travel. If news comes to you that the Hilal has been sighted using these mechanisms, then it would be valid. Otherwise, what if the Hilal is seen in California at 3 a.m. UK time, or in some part in America at UK time, 3, 4 in the morning? Are we now bound to fast the next day because we've got the news before Imsak? So this becomes difficult. So that's the reason why. Okay, there's no there. So we've answered that. Less friction as possible. Absolutely. We are ulama, and this is what people fail to understand. And we have a graver and greater responsibility to keep the ummah moving in a general direction in the way forward. We're not just separatists, or we're not just saying my way or the highway, because that doesn't work. Okay, we have to bring the community. We have to bring the whole flock. And it's easy. If I was just one-man band, it'd be easy. I just do what I think is right, and everyone else can go, or jump off a cliff. But that's not how the world works, and that's not how the responsibility is being placed upon ulama. The responsibility that's placed upon ulama is to keep people moving with as less friction as possible, moving in the right direction. Can we read from the Mus'haf during Tarawih Salah, which is from Nawafil? No, we shouldn't do that. Otherwise, we would no longer have Hufaz. The beauty is that we have Hufaz, which I think, Suleiman, you've asked that question perfectly, as though you intentionally read my mind. As we're talking about Tarawih, I'm sure wherever you are in the UK, your time for Tarawih is drawing near. So if it's already Tarawih, meaning you started fasting yesterday, you need to go to the masjid. If, of course, you're starting tomorrow, then you need to go to the masjid. So may Allah bless you all. This is a time to look into things better for yourselves for next year, and improve things. Ijtihad is not required, as Moonsighting is not a new matter that the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam could not rule on. This was a matter already ruled on by the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay. What do you want me to say? If UK follower, that's still not changed my mind. If a UK follower leads Tarawih last night, do the Musalli Salah count? Interesting. Okay, a UK follower should not have been leading Tarawih last night, because for him it's just a nafal, and nafal shouldn't necessarily be prayed in Jamaat for him. Rather, he shouldn't have done that. He should have let somebody else lead. Okay, Khair. I'm glad to have put a smile on my esteemed colleague's face. May Allah bless him. May Allah keep him smiling. Him and Usman do a lot of khidmah behind the scenes, even outside of Ramadan and in Ramadan. Make sure you make dua for all the admin team that does give me a lot of support. They make my life so much easier They do all this hard work, mashallah, which means you can benefit from the videos, you can benefit from the messages which go out, which is not just about moonsighting. As I said, if we only had moonsighting to worry about, that would just be one thing. As you can see behind us, we have 1,001 things that we need to ensure that we keep ourselves upon right, and also keep our communities as shepherds upon right as well. So may Allah SWT give us strength, may Allah SWT give us tawfiq, and may you all have a blessed Ramadan. Obviously, this is not a goodbye, even though it sounds like it. We will be back live in approximately 3 hours time with our first guidance for the guided, which is going to be a short mukhtasar tafsir and kind of a contemporary gloss and understanding, so we can relate to the Quran better and it doesn't just become a source of dust. We will have our usual fiqh hours on Wednesdays like they do today, but it won't be at 6 p.m. It will replace the slot of guidance for the guided at 9:45. So inshallah, I see you soon in 3 hours time. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.